take a moment to address some important conversations happening across the WNBA, including remarks made earlier this week by Nafisa Collier. First, let me repeat this. You saw it in my statement, but I have the utmost respect for Nafisa and for every single player in our league. They are at the center of everything we do. I was disheartened to hear that some players feel the league and me personally do not care about them or listen to them. And if the players in the W don't feel appreciated and valued by the league, then we have to do better and I have to do better.
So check this out. Cathy Engelbert just pulled one of the fastest PR moves we've seen in sports this year. No exaggeration. She went from brushing off player concerns to suddenly acting like she's everyone's best friend at a family reunion. Now she's all about compassion and connection. Yeah, okay, Cathy. So the big question is this sudden apology tour actually sincere or just straight-up damage control? Honestly, it's the funniest turnaround since Ben Simmons swore he'd fix his jump shot.
You know how great these players are on and off the court, how much they mean to our league, our fans, and our communities. If they don't feel that, I will do everything I can to change that. No one should ever doubt how deeply I care about this league, this game, and every single player who makes the WNBA what it is. So we value feedback, we listen to criticism, we remain committed to engaging in the difficult but necessary conversations that ultimately make us all stronger and better.
What's wild is that Cathy Engelbert, the WNBA commissioner, went from brushing off false rumors and acting upset about the criticism to suddenly sounding like everyone's favorite supportive aunt on stage. You honestly couldn't script this better. At her WNBA Finals press conference this week, she was supposed to deliver a calm, professional statement, but instead, it came off like she was trying to rewrite the past. It's as if she forgot we all literally watched the last 2 weeks unfold in real time. Let's rewind. Just a couple of weeks ago, Nafisa Collier, one of the league's most respected voices, dropped a bomb on WNBA leadership. She revealed private comments Cathy allegedly made, saying things like, "Only losers complain about refs," and "Players should be on their knees thanking their lucky stars for the deal I got them." Yeah, that blew up instantly. And to make things worse, Cathy's initial response sounded like it came straight from an outdated chatbot, all corporate fluff and zero accountability. You know the type. "I'm disheartened. Perspectives differ." That's not leadership. That's a PR template pretending to be one.
Link's star Nafisa Collier blasted WNBA leadership in her exit interview on Tuesday, accusing League Commissioner Cathy Engelbert of being, quote, negligent in her governance. A moment ago, Caitlin Clark spoke on the matter. Take a listen.
Well, I have great respect for Fee, and I think she made a lot of very valid points. And, I think what people need to understand, we need great leadership in this time across all levels. This is straight up the most important moment in this league's history. This league's been around for 25 plus years, and this is a moment we have to capitalize on. So that's honestly what I would say. I think there's, Fee said it all with what she said, and I think the points she made were very valid.
And then things just completely spiraled. One by one, players like Sophie Cunningham, Caitlin Clark, Brianna Stewart, and Elena Del Don started speaking up. Suddenly, the entire league was calling out Engelbert for her tone-deaf leadership. So what does Cathy do next? She walks into the WNBA Finals press conference, delivers this drawn-out 20-minute speech, and starts acting like she's Mother Teresa. Out of nowhere, she's all about respecting every player, prioritizing safety, and, get this, she's even creating a state-of-the-game committee to address officiating issues. It's like she flipped a switch from defensive to overly devoted overnight.
Better. As it relates to officiating and gameplay on the court, we hear the concerns, we take them seriously. Our game is faster, featuring more talent, and the game is more competitive than ever before. And with that evolution, game rules, interpretation, and officiating has to keep pace. Every major sport goes through this. Rules evolve, officiating adapts, standards shift. Alongside the growth of the game, the WNBA is no different. At the conclusion of the season, as we do every year, the league's competition committee will meet to evaluate the state of the game, which includes game rules, officiating, and player safety on the court.
Here's the thing, this whole officiating problem isn't new. Players have been calling it out all season. But now, suddenly, it's a major priority? Let's be honest, It's not because Cathy suddenly discovered her empathy, it's because the entire league's had enough. It's crazy how quickly the narrative flipped from "everything's fine" to "we're listening carefully to the players' concerns."
Stakeholders' eyes. There are no greater stakeholders than our players. Their voice is integral to the alignment that is required for good officiating, and we look forward to including their perspectives on how our staff can better serve the game moving forward. So through the competition committee and the State of the Game committee I've mentioned, we will take a hard look at what the proper line should be for good, aggressive play that we recognize has evolved into rough play, and how to calibrate the line for legal and illegal contact to ensure player safety and excitement.
In the eyes of our stakeholders, there are no voices more important than those of our players. Their input is essential to achieving the alignment needed for quality officiating, and we're eager to include their insights on how our staff can better support the game moving forward. Through both the competition committee and the newly introduced State of the Game committee, we'll take a close look at where to draw the line between strong, aggressive play and overly rough contact. The goal is to clearly define what's legal versus illegal to protect player safety while keeping the competition intense and exciting. That's not growth, my friend. That's pure survival mode. And honestly, this whole press conference was a masterclass in pretending to take accountability without actually saying, "Hey, I messed up. Let's just break it down." She kicks things off talking about the finals. Aces versus Mercury, the 29th WNBA Finals. All exciting stuff for the league. She throws in buzzwords like resilience, togetherness, and belief. All very nice, but totally irrelevant to the actual drama we just lived through. Then out of nowhere, she smoothly transitions to important conversations happening across the league. Translation: she finally realized the internet was absolutely dragging her for 2 straight weeks. She says, "I was disheartened to hear that some players feel the league and I personally do not care about them." Cathy, some players? Do you mean pretty much every player who spoke to the media this month? Follows that up with, "If the players don't feel appreciated, then I have to do better. So now you care." After calling Keir's comments inaccurate after acting like it was all clickbait. This entire act is like watching a politician suddenly pretend to care about public schools right before election season. Then she tried to sound all emotional. "I'm a human, too. I have a family." Kids were devastated by these comments. Oh no, not the "I have kids" defense. The second she said that, you could practically hear the collective sigh from the players' side. Because while Cathy's kids were devastated, Caitlin Clark was getting slammed on the floor and didn't even get a whistle. And here's where it gets truly ironic. Cathy Engelbert announces she's forming a multi-stakeholder task force called the State of the Game Committee. Sounds super impressive, right? Until you realize it's basically just a fancy way of saying we're forming a committee to talk about forming another committee. You know, the league's in trouble when the fix for bad leadership is just more Zoom meetings. And then came the cherry on top, her comments about Caitlin Clark. This is the same Cathy who allegedly told Nfisa Collier that Caitlin should just be grateful for the platform. Now she wants everyone to know she deeply respects Caitlin, listens to players, and values their feedback. Suddenly, she's praising Clark's impact on the league, calling her a major part of our success story. Oh, so now it's a success story. 2 weeks ago it was, "Don't mischaracterize our leadership. This is exactly what we mean by doing a." She literally spent months ignoring criticism, brushing officiating issues, and staying completely quiet about Caitlin's treatment, and now she's acting like she's the league's biggest ally. She even said she's inviting player voices to help define what good officiating means. That's hilarious. because players have been screaming about this since May. Now that the finals are here and the league's image is tanking, it suddenly matters. Timing is everything, huh? But let's be fair. Cathy isn't completely clueless. She's a former DOT. She totally understands optics. She knows exactly when to pivot. She's trying to rebrand herself from this cold executive to an empathetic leader. The problem, the players aren't buying it because actions speak so much louder than any conference speak. Sophie Cunningham already said she's tired of the league being run by business people who don't actually know basketball. And that's precisely the issue. Cathy's a numbers person. She's amazing with spreadsheets, but not so much in the locker room. You just can't lead athletes like you're running a quarterly review. You can't tell Caitlin Clark to be grateful and then wonder why the players don't trust you. And that's exactly why this whole apology tour feels like pure theater. The audience knows it's fake, but they'll still clap just to be polite. Even ESPN reporters were pressing her hard like Malika Andrews, who asked point blank, "Did you really say players should be on their knees thanking their lucky stars?" Cathy's answer, "There's a lot of inaccuracy out there. So basically, no denial, just the classic fake news line." Then she adds, "I've texted Nafisa, we're talking next week." You mean after the finals, after 2 weeks of prairie damage? What perfect timing. She was also asked if she still feels she's the right person to lead the league. Cathy's response, "I've never been a quitter. Leadership always rises to the top." You could almost hear Stephen A. Smith yelling from another studio. That was the most corporate answer I've ever heard. Cathy's strategy seems to be deny the problem, quote, leadership cliches, and just hope everyone moves on. Except they won't. Not when players like Caitlin Clark are publicly siding with Nafisa Collier and saying her points were valid. Not when Sophie Cunningham is threatening a lockout. Not when fans are openly mocking the league for being more dramatic than Love Island. And not when your own league MVPs like Brianna Stewart and A.A. Wilson are staying totally silent, which says a whole lot. Because silence from your stars usually means they're done defending you. Let's be super clear here. Cathy Engelbert's success before Caitlin Clark is real. She absolutely helped stabilize the WNBA when it was struggling. She brought in sponsors, improved media deals, and made sure the league even survived CO. But she's definitely not the reason the WNBA is booming now. Caitlin Clark is, and Cathy knows it. That's why she realized she just can't afford to lose. The one player who actually made the WNBA matter to mainstream audiences. It's kind of funny. Before Caitlin, Cathy's press conferences were barely covered. Now every single word she says trends. That's power, and it doesn't belong to her anymore. Even players who might not love Caitlin have admitted she's lifted the league financially. Attendance, viewership, merchandise, all up. So, when Cathy's old be grateful attitude leaked, it made her look completely jealous of the one person she should be praising. Now she's out here doing verbal gymnastics, trying to sound like a mentor. She even threw in lines like, "We owe it to the players, fans, and next generation." Nice speech. Too bad it came after months of ignoring those exact same players. And the funniest part, Cathy still can't resist taking credit. In her speech, she said, "We've made incredible progress. We've expanded our footprint, lady." The footprint expanded because Caitlin Clark walked in with an entire army of fans It's like taking credit for the rain after someone else turned on the sprinkler. Here's the real truth. Cathy Engelbert is trying to rewrite her own legacy before it completely collapses. She wants to be remembered as this visionary leader who guided the WNBA through change, not the commissioner who totally lost her players' trust. But this press conference made one thing crystal clear. The players are no longer scared to call her out. Caitlin Clark didn't even have to say much. Just saying valid points was enough. That's the kind of calm confidence Cathy wishes she right. Every time she speaks, it just feels like pure damage control. Every quote sounds like it was pre-approved by 3 lawyers and a PR team. And it's hilarious because the harder she tries to sound warm and relatable, the colder she actually comes off. It's like watching a robot apologize for stepping on someone's foot. She even tried ending her speech with a big thank you to her team, calling them the best in women's sport. You can't help but laugh because, while she's busy thanking her office staff, her players are publicly questioning if she should even keep her job. That's not leadership. That's denial with a smile. And honestly, this whole saga might backfire spectacularly, because the more Cathy tries to clarify her comments, the worse she looks. The players don't want another speech. They want real accountability. They want actions like fair pay, better officiating, and a commissioner who actually talks to them without being condescending. Right now, Cathy's version of leadership is like trying to put out a house fire by complimenting the wallpaper. It's too little too late. So, yes, this whole 180 was hilarious to watch, but it's also pretty sad because this could have been completely avoided if she had just listened early. Instead, she let her ego get in the way. Now she's trying to act humble while pretending the problem was just miscommunication. No, Cathy, the problem was pure arrogance. And until that changes, no committee or speech is going to fix the WNBA's credibility problem. So yeah, Cathy Engelbert's 1080 was great comedy, but it also proves one undeniable thing. The players are now in control of the narrative, not her. And that's exactly how it should be. And honestly, the absolute funniest part in all of this is how Cathy's trying to play both sides now. 1 minute she's defending herself against misquotes, and the next she's quoting the very same players she ignored for months. It's like watching someone argue with their own reflection. Even the media isn't buying it anymore. Reporters are treating her press conferences like stand-up specials, not because she's funny, but because her answers sound like rehearsed punchlines. We're listening to feedback and we value our players just makes her look even more disconnected, and the timing, it couldn't be worse. Fans are paying attention. Caitlin's injured but still influencing headlines, and the WNBA is finally in the spotlight for something other than low attendance. This was her moment to truly show leadership. Instead, she gave us a corporate PowerPoint in human form. This point, if Cathy really wants to win people back, she needs way less committees and a whole lot more honesty. Because fans don't need another memo. They just want someone who actually gets it. So, what do you guys think? Is Cathy Engelbert actually changing, or is she just panicking before she loses her job? Because right now her "I care deeply" speech feels way more like a desperate PR move than actual leadership.